Welcome to the deep dive. Ready to explore something incredible? We're diving into the world of quantum computing today.
Yeah, those computers that could change, well, everything.
Exactly. Imagine solving problems in minutes that would normally take like billions of years.
It's all thanks to quantum gates, the heart of these amazing machines.
Quantum gates. I feel like we hear about them everywhere.
Right, but how many people actually understand what they are?
That's where today's deep dive comes in. We're using Yorgo Schneppet's essay, Quantengatter, the Baustein des Quantencomputings.
Schnippet does a brilliant job of breaking down these complex concepts.
Okay, so he starts by comparing quantum gates to the logic gates in, our everyday computers.
The computers we use all the time.
Yeah, exactly. But what's the key difference? What makes these quantum gates so special?
The difference is all about how information is processed. Think about it. Classical computers, they use bits.
Zeros and ones.
Right. But quantum computers, they use qubits. And get this, qubits can exist in a state called superposition.
Superposition. Okay, now you're just using sci-fi words.
It does sound like it, doesn't it? But picture a coin spinning in the air. Before it lands, it's not heads or tails, it's both at the same time.
Whoa.
That's superposition. A qubit can be both 0 and 1 simultaneously.
So it's like having infinite possibilities all at once.
Exactly. And that's what gives quantum computers such insane power. They're not limited to one path at a time.
This is blowing my mind. So it's not just about speed, right? It's like a whole new way of thinking about what computation IS.
Absolutely. It challenges everything we thought we knew about computers. Schneppet really digs into this in his essay. He talks about how this quantum approach helps us tackle problems that, for normal computers, are impossible.
So what kind of problems?
We're talking searching huge amounts of data, simulating complex systems, or optimizing intricate processes, the stuff that takes forever or just can't be done with regular computers.
This is wild. Okay. Schneppet also mentions these different types of quantum gates, like the NOT gate, the Hadamard, and the CNOT gate.
Oh yeah, the quantum toolbox. Each gate does something specific.
Can you give us the quick explanation of what each of those does?
Of course. So the not T gate, it's the simplest. It just flips a qubit's state, like a light switch on becomes off and off becomes on.
Okay, I can see that. So what about this Hadamard gate?
Now, this is where it gets really quantum. The Hadamard gate takes a qubit that's definitely 0 or 1 and throws it into superposition.
It's like that spinning coin, but now it's spinning even faster. You can't tell what it'll be.
Exactly. Embracing that uncertainty, that quantum fuzziness.
Okay, and then there's the CNOT gate, right?
Wow, the CNOT gate, that's where entanglement comes in.
Entanglement, oh boy, here we go.
This is where two qubits get linked together, but in a way we just don't see in our everyday world.
Like they're connected no matter how far apart.
Exactly. Whatever happens to one instantly affects the other. It's like spooky action at a distance.
Schneppet explains this spooky action.
He does a great job, yeah.
Yeah.
And he keeps it clear, even without diving into the crazy math behind it.
So these gates, they don't just work alone, right?
No, they combine to create what we call quantum circuits. Imagine a recipe.
Okay.
Each gate is an ingredient, and together they form the instructions for the qubits. That's how we build those powerful quantum algorithms.
Ah, the algorithms. Schneppet mentions Grover's algorithm as an example. I think it's that one that can search a database way faster than any normal computer, right?
That's the one. It's like finding a specific grain of sand on a beach, but in seconds.
That's insane. But, it does all sound a bit too good to be true.
Well, there are challenges.
Yeah, Schneppet talks about those too.
Building these quantum gates and making them work reliably is incredibly difficult.
What are some of the big problems?
One of the biggest is decoherence. Qubits are so sensitive, like trying to balance a pencil on its tip. The slightest disturbance messes everything up.
So any little noise and the whole thing falls apart.
Basically, it can cause them to lose their quantum properties, and then you get errors in the calculations.
So it's like trying to build a super complex computer, but the pieces are unbelievably fragile.
A perfect analogy. And to fight this decoherence, we need some extreme conditions, like super low temperatures.
Okay, so not exactly something you can just build in your garage.
Not yet, anyway, but we're working on it. There are lots of different technologies being explored, each with its own pros and cons. It's a really exciting time for quantum computing.
And those technologies are what we're going to dive into next. Stay with us.
So we're back, diving deeper into those different technologies for building quantum computers. Remember, these are the systems that hold and manipulate those incredible qubits.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like we're actually building machines that use the weirdness of quantum mechanics to compute things.
It's a whole new world. Let's start with superconducting circuits, which Schneppet points out as a frontrunner in this race to build practical quantum computers.
Okay, superconducting circuits, break it down for us.
Picture a tiny loop of wire, but it's not your average wire.
Special wire.
Very special. This wire is made of a material that, when it's super cold, becomes a superconductor, meaning it can conduct electricity with zero resistance.
Zero. Like no resistance at all. That's wild.
It is, and it leads to some mind-blowing stuff. By carefully designing these circuits and controlling the current, we create states that represent RCAs and ones.
And those superpositions too, right?
Exactly. It's all happening within this super-cooled circuit.
So we're controlling electrons to make qubits.
You got it. And a big reason superconducting circuits are so promising is that we can use the same tools and techniques from the semiconductor industry.
So we're building on existing technology.
Smart. But, as Schneppet points out, it's not all smooth sailing.
There's always a catch.
Decoherence. Remember that super-sensitive qubit problem? It's a big one here, too. Superconducting qubits are easily disturbed by anything, noise, interference, you name it.
And keeping those temperatures super low must be a nightmare.
It's a constant battle to keep everything isolated and stable enough to actually compute.
Sounds like a delicate dance.
It is. But even with these challenges, superconducting circuits have shown huge potential.
So lots of people are betting on this technology. What about trapped ion systems? Schneppet talks about those too.
Another very cool approach. Trapped ion systems, well, they use individual atoms as qubits, specifically ions.
So instead of circuits, we're talking single atoms.
Yep. And these ions, they're trapped in place by electromagnetic fields, like little cages made of light.
Hold on, so we're using light to hold atoms.
Pretty much. We suspend these atoms and use them to compute. And to manipulate them, we use lasers.
Lasers. Okay, now this is definitely sounding like sci-fi.
I know, right? But it's real. And by hitting these ions with the lasers, we can control their energy levels, put them into superposition, even entangle them.
It's mind-blowing. Trapped ions, they seem to have a leg up on superconducting circuits in terms of coherence time, right? Schneppet mentioned that.
That's right. They can stay in those delicate quantum states for much longer. But there's a trade-off.
Of course. What is it?
Scalability. Trapping and controlling a few ions is one thing, but getting to the thousands or millions needed for serious quantum computers, that's a huge challenge.
So finding the right balance is key.
Yeah.
Something that's stable and can handle complex calculations.
Exactly. And that's why we're seeing all these different approaches. Schneppet mentions another one, photonic systems, using light itself.
Photons, those are light particles, right?
Right.
So how do you compute with light?
It might sound strange, but photons can actually represent qubits. You can use their polarization, that's like the direction their electric field wobbles, or their path through a bunch of optical components.
So we're like twisting and turning light to make it compute.
In essence, yes. And photonic systems have some cool perks.
Like what?
They work at room temperature. No need for those crazy cooling systems.
That simplifies things a lot.
Big time. And photons are great at sending information across long distances, which could be huge for building quantum networks.
Schneppet seems pretty excited about photonic systems.
He is. But there are, of course, downsides. Building a large-scale, fault-tolerant quantum computer with photons is still tough.
What makes it so difficult?
Controlling and manipulating individual photons can be tricky, and scaling up the tech while keeping those delicate quantum properties, that's a whole other problem.
It seems like no matter which way you go, building a quantum computer is a massive task.
Definitely. And it's not just about the hardware, the physical stuff. Schneppet emphasizes that the software is just as important. We need algorithms that can use the power of these machines.
Right, the quantum algorithms. We need to be able to actually UEC these computers once we build them. What kind of problems can these algorithms tackle, and how are they different from what we use now?
Well, to understand that, we need to get into the world of quantum algorithms themselves. It's a fascinating area.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring this crazy world of quantum gates, the building blocks of these like super powerful quantum computers.
It's been a wild ride through quantum mechanics.
It really has. We've covered superposition, entanglement, and all the cool tech being used to build these things. And of course, those quantum algorithms that seem like straight out of science fiction.
Schneppet lays it all out so well.
He does. But before we finish up, let's bring it back to our listeners. Schneppet doesn't just talk about the science. He gets into how quantum computing could actually change the world. So what does this quantum revolution mean for everyday life?
Well, the potential is huge, impacting everything from medicine to materials, finance, AI, you name it.
Okay, but like specifically, how will it affect people in the coming years?
Imagine healthcare, but personalized in a way we've never seen. Drugs designed for your specific genes and illness. Quantum computers could make that possible.
Wait, so more effective treatments with fewer side effects?
Exactly. And think about materials. We could create things that are lighter, A&D stronger, better at conducting electricity, maybe even self-repairing.
Whoa, our whole world could change. How we build things, the energy we use.
Absolutely. And then there's AI, artificial intelligence.
Schneppet talks about that, right? How quantum computers could change AI.
Quantum machine learning is already a hot topic. We could create AI that's way more powerful, able to analyze data, recognize patterns, and make decisions in ways we can barely imagine.
It's both exciting and kind of scary, to be honest.
That's why Schneppatz stresses approaching all this with responsibility.
So it's not just on scientists and engineers, it's up to all of us to figure out how to use this tech ethically.
Exactly. How do we share the benefits fairly? What about cybersecurity and privacy? How do we prepare for the changes it'll bring to jobs and society?
It's a lot to think about, and we need to start now, not wait till it's too late.
That's what Schnepphat is urging us to do. Be excited about the possibilities, but also cautious and thoughtful.
I have to say, Schneppat's essay is amazing.
Yeah.
He explains all this crazy complicated stuff so clearly anyone can get it.
He really captures both the science and the wonder of quantum computing.
And he clearly believes it can be a force for good.
He does. So for anyone listening who's hooked on this quantum stuff, what do you suggest? Where can they learn more?
Ooh, good question.
There's so much online. Websites like Quantum Computing Report or the Quantum Daily keep you updated on all the latest.
What about courses for people who want to really dig in?
Platforms like Coursera and edX have some great ones. And don't forget, libraries and bookstores. Tons of books for everyone, from beginners to, total quantum nerds.
Heck yeah. And if you're feeling really adventurous,
Go to a quantum computing conference. You'll meet the people pushing the boundaries of the field.
it's clear that this quantum revolution is just getting started.
Like Schneppet says, the future is wide open, full of potential. It's up to all of us to make sure it's a good one.
Well said. It's an amazing time to be alive, witnessing this whole new era of computing.
Maybe some of our listeners will be the ones making those groundbreaking discoveries.
Imagine that. That's a wrap for this deep dive into the world of quantum gates. We hope you've learned something, maybe had your mind blown a little, and most importantly, that you're as excited about the future of quantum computing as we are. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.